Hello everyone and welcome to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. Today I thought I would share my process on drawing a picture for Inktober. I am participating in Inktober and it's something that I've not mentioned in any of my videos yet, and we are now well past the middle of the month. And just to kind of get an idea for the kind of things that I do for Inktober, it is a challenge for me because I don't draw in ink, and it's been quite nice so far and I'm actually quite enjoying it, so hopefully you'll enjoy it too. At the end of the video I'm also going to announce our giveaway winners for our 500 subscriber celebration, so be sure to check that out at the end of the video too. So I've had a bit of a problem getting videos filmed and I'm kind of behind schedule, but there is good reason for it and I'm about to show you why. So this is the reason why. We have a new addition, and this is Pip, and she is 9 weeks old and she's going to be our new working collie dog. But for now she's just being a baby. If any of you have pets, I know quite a few of you are dog owners, you know how much work a puppy is. So I'm trying to film things in between trips outside to learn to potty outside and chewing things, and I'm trying to work as well. Whoa! So you can imagine it's getting quite frantic. So I will do my best to get videos out on time, and if not, you know the reason why. Day 19 of Inktober, and the prompt for today was scorched. I had planned this particular drawing out quite well in advance, and it was because when I was on my honeymoon I met a lovely lady called Carly, and Carly and I got into a conversation about what computer games we liked to play when we were younger, and her favourite was Spyro the Dragon. I figured that Spyro fitted in pretty well with the theme of scorched, seeing as you run around on a sort of vigilante rampage burning things with your super dragon fiery breath. So that was what I decided to do for this prompt, and I am drawing this picture for her, which I'm going to send to her in PDF form so she can print it off and hang it on her wall or whatever she wants to do with it. So I'd had plenty of time to think about it, and that's really unusual for an Inktober drawing. Because it's quite quick fire, because you're drawing something new every day. Quite often you don't have a lot of time to think about them unless you specifically set aside the time to mull over every single prompt. Because I have Pip now, I have not had a lot of time to myself, so I was quite glad that I had planned this one in advance and I knew I was going to film it. It did actually take me all day to film this entire video from start to finish and edit it. As I'm doing this voiceover now, it is 9:15 in the evening. I started filming this video at 10 to 10 this morning, so it's been quite a long day, although it's been in fits and starts. So before I actually went on and drew this, what was going to be the final version, I did spend a quick sort of 5 or 10 minutes putting some work in my sketchbook, just doing little thumbnails, and I was trying to figure out which version of Spyro I wanted to draw and also what position I wanted him in. Now originally I had decided that he was going to be breathing fire, but in doing that I just felt it was covering up quite a lot of his features and I didn't want that to happen, so I went for a simpler pose. I still think it's pertinent to the theme. So after I got the sketch work done, I am working on marker cardstock here. I went in with my Pigma Micron and did the outline. Now the outside outline I have done with a 05 Pigma Micron, and for the finer lines I moved to a 01. And I'm working my way around here, just filling in some of the details, and I made a massive boo-boo with his mouth here, which upset me somewhat. Made him kind of look a bit like a Cheshire cat, and you can see that the proportion and the angles of the mouth are wrong, and because it was in ink it was too late for me to fix it, so I figured I would just have to do my best covering it up when I started to colour it in. Aside from that, I was actually quite happy with how the sketch turned out, considering I was pressed for time and I was very aware of it while I was drawing. You know, I had that sort of sense of urgency, and really I would like to have taken a lot more time over this. than I actually did, but that's just a circumstance I couldn't do anything about. So once I was happy with my line work, I took my kneaded eraser and just got rid of those sketch lines that I didn't need anymore before I got out the Copic markers. Woo! Aren't they pretty? So I had to do a bit of fiddling about. That is a chart of some colour combinations that I like favourite ones. So I went with one of the purple sets. But before I started colouring, I just wanted to double check that I was happy with the colours and that I had them in the right order from lightest to darkest. I did that because they're actually not in numerical order, which is confusing and that doesn't really work, but that's just the way Copic did it. So after that, I just got to work and started colouring in. I wanted to keep the lightest parts quite light so that there was the sign of a light source of some shape. So that first colour is actually not true spiral colour as far as I'm concerned. It is a lot darker purple than that, but I wanted to show that there was a little bit of a reflection of his nose and what would be the right hand side of his face, the left hand side of the page as you're looking at it. So I tried to incorporate that as much as possible while I was using my markers. And most of you will know that I am not that experienced with markers, but I just felt that seeing it was Inktober, I have mostly been drawing just with Pigma Microns and I've not been adding a lot of colour. So I felt justified in using the Copics because it is still ink and just using that splash of colour to mix things up a bit. We are at day 19 now, so you know, it's good to mix things up. Also as well, the other reason for it is I wanted to use that dark purple to try and rectify some of the mouth issues. I know it's not going to change the proportions or fix the picture completely, but I felt I would be able to mask it a lot better by using the Copic markers. One of the things that I changed my mind about right at the last kick when I was inking was the angle of Spyro's eyebrows. If any of you are familiar with the Spyro the Dragon games, he is quite a feisty little character. He's one of these sort of small but mighty types, and when I had the eyebrows at a slightly more horizontal angle, I just feel as if it wasn't giving him the sass that he deserved. So that was a gamble that paid off for a change. It doesn't happen very often with me, especially with ink, but that was a bit of a yay moment, which made up for the slightly squishy face that I wasn't quite able to fix, but never mind. It worked out okay in the end. I was also quite pleased with the shadowing on the face. It's worked out exactly how I pictured it in my mind, and it is always good when that happens. After getting the face done, that was the sort of tricky part because there was kind of like two planes to his face, but when doing his body I found it a lot easier to get the shading in and blending in because it was much more obvious where the dark and the light parts should be. His back was quite an odd part. I wanted to add some texture here, but I didn't want to sort of take away from his face in the front of his body, which is kind of, well, for me it's like more the focal point of the picture, but also to try and get the shadows in the right places as well. So I did my best to balance that little bit of texture where his little I want to say knobbly bits where the spines on his back are, and the little bit of the scales that, you know, make up his skin and actually give him the texture. I did want to hint at that, so I kind of did it as an accent rather than filling his whole body with scales, because I think it would have become too fiddly and I probably wouldn't have made a great job of it without it looking really sort of, I don't know, untidy. So that's why I just sort of added in those little spots here and there, just to kind of like give the feel of the knobbly bits and the scales. Filling in his eyes, that's pretty straightforward. Just use my Pigma Micron for that. And this was my absolute favourite part of colouring in this picture, was using these yellow colours. They are just fabulous colours. I really enjoyed it, and I just felt that it really brought that sort of 3D effect into play much better. You know, it really sort of hit home that, yeah, okay, this guy's, you know, he's not flat at the front. And I was really pleased with the combination of colours that I picked as well. They worked really well together and gave me the effect that I wanted. It was all going so well until I got to the wings, and then this happened. Oh no. I am really clumsy with Copics, and part of it is because I hold them in my mouth when I'm blending, and that was a transition from taking the pen from my mouth into my hand to use it to colour, and it just went wee. So I was a bit upset about that. I did try to get rid of the mark by using a colourless blender, which didn't work very well, and I covered up the mark on his leg just by adding some more texture into it, so that was my kind of way of saving it. But anyway, the culprit pen was an orange, a cadmium orange, and I wanted to incorporate that into the wings and his little spines on the top of his head in the middle, not his horns, because I wanted to keep the colour scheme cohesive, but I needed that little bit of extra something just to differentiate between his horns and his spines, and again filling that bit in his wings. So that was the reason that I chose that. But I added that to the two darkest yellows that I used for his chest and his horns. So my mistake was bugging me through the entire process, you know, the rest of the colouring process, but there wasn't a huge amount I could do about it, so I just decided to incorporate it into the picture. You win some, you lose some with Inktober, and today was just not my day. Overall, I really enjoyed this picture. It was great fun despite my mistake, and I had a really good time using my Copic markers as well, which is the first time this month I have done it. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of thing. I'm always up for a laugh, you know, hey, what can you do? Not a lot else. Feel free also to leave us a comment in the box below, tell me what you think, and we'll see you again soon. So it's time to announce the winners of our giveaway. Now, seeing as we are at the cutting edge of technology here at the Colour Cave, we're going to do this properly. I have an actual hat, which came from my honeymoon. And in this plastic tub, I have all the entries for the first goodie pack, which was the set with the Polychromos, the water brush, Posca pen, and the Blackwing pencil, as well as the gelatos. So here are all the entries, and I'm putting them into the hat, and I'm going to give them a really good rumble round. Okay, good luck everybody. And I have a winner. Dun dun dun. And the winner is Amber Armstrong. Well done, Amber. What I need you to do is get in touch with me using one of the links below, preferably with an email or a private message on Facebook. We want to keep your details safe because I will need to get your postal details from you. So now that we've done this one, tip them all out. Oh, hat is empty. Here is the tub with the second goodie pack, which was the pastel pencil goodie pack. So once again, in the hat, give them a really good rumble round. Make sure they're all mixed up properly. Okay, good luck to everyone who entered for the second pack. And I have a winner. And the winner of the pastel pencil pack is Beth Crawford. Well done, Beth, and the same to you. If you could get in touch with me, either drop me an email or a private message on any of the social media, and we can get our prizes sent out. So thank you again for everyone who entered, and also for all your support with the channel, and long may it continue. And I promise that if we get to 1,000 subscribers, then I will do another giveaway and it will be just as good as this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon in the colour cave, guys. Bye bye for now.